Welcome to today's market report. European stock markets are seeing opening slightly higher on Wednesday, with investors pausing for breath after this week's strong gains on the back of coronavirus vaccine hopes. The DAX futures contract in Germany traded 0.2% lower, CAC 40 climbed 0.4%, FTSE 100 contract in the UK rose 0.2%. Global stock markets have responded positively this week to the news from the US pharmaceutical giant Pfizer that the vaccine it is developing in conjunction with German partner Biontech was more than 90% effective at preventing COVID-19. In Europe, the DAX and the FTSE 100 indices are around 7% higher, while the CAC 40 has posted gains of over 10%. Certainly, there is a ray of hope from the vaccine, and investors will have a little more confidence that we are moving into an early stage recovery cycle rather than teetering on the precipice of another double dip. However, as positive as this news is, the drug makers still have to disclose safety data for their experimental vaccine before seeking regulatory approval, and if passed, the rollout to the global population will still take considerable time. Meanwhile, more than 300,000 people have died of COVID-19 across Europe, with just 10% of the world's population. Europe accounts for almost a quarter of the 1.2 million deaths globally from the disease, prompting governments to lock down their economies to try and prevent their well-equipped hospitals from collapsing under the strain. With this in mind, investors are looking to hear from European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde about the European economic outlook and stimulus prospects in a speech at 1 o'clock this afternoon. In corporate news, E.ON will be in focus after the German energy company reported a drop in third quarter profits, but it also backed its full-year outlook, citing a rapid market recovery. Oil prices pushed higher on Wednesday, continuing the recent positive tone generated by Pfizer's vaccine news and helped further by an industrial report showing that US crude inventories fell by more than expected. Crude futures traded 1.5% higher at $41.99 a barrel. Brent contracts rose 1% to $44.05 per barrel. Both contracts are up more than 10% this week. Elsewhere, gold futures rose 0.2% to $1,879.45 per ounce. On the FX front, GBP/USD recedes the upside momentum while declining from the multi-day high of 132.80 to 132.63, up 0.12% intraday. The pair recently benefited from the mixed risk sentiment and increasing odds of a soft Brexit. The pair's further upside is forecast to meet a relevant hurdle at 133.80 ahead of 134.20, noted according to the UOB Group. Commerzbank expects the cable to fail in the 133.10 to 134.22 band. UK diplomat Eustace comments that some goodwill on both sides of the UK and EU to progress things. The odds could also consider British PM Boris Johnson's defeat in the UK's upper Parliament House to have an upper hand in editing the Brexit treaty via the internal market bill. Further favouring the Brexit optimism could be the first talks between Boris Johnson and US President-elect Joe Biden that highlights the need for a soft stand on Northern Ireland. Although Veterans Day off in the US can keep limiting the cable's immediate moves, UK's NASA GDP estimate for 3 months to October forecasts 2.4% versus 3.3% prior can offer immediate moves to the pair after the recent UK employment data pleased GBP/USD buyers. Eurodollar is in stasis amid increased hopes for coronavirus vaccine and evidence of a renewed slowdown in the German economy. The European Central Bank President Lagarde's speech may provide a clear directional bias to the common currency. The pair extends its 20 pips range play above 118 into the European Open as markets digest the latest vaccine euphoria amid coronavirus escalation globally. The ECB must announce additional monetary policy easing in December to avoid the risk of deflation in the Eurozone. Bank of Spain says, with several European nations backing the economically painful coronavirus lockdown restrictions, President Lagarde has little room to sound hawkish. The German economy is already showing signs of weakness, with the ZU index dropped from 56.1 to 39 in November, reflecting concerns about a double-dip recession. The dollar index was up 0.04% at 92.775. Dollar yen rose 0.1% to 105.39. This is today's market news. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.